Good morning, it's Cap again, and today I'm going to flute some rods for the train. I know maybe you guys aren't interested in trains, but this kind of job, it can be, you can use these techniques for any kind of job. It's not just train jobs, it's car jobs, it's machinery jobs, whatever you're doing, you can transfer, because it's all the same technology. So it's a little cold here today. It's about 20. So I have the stove going in the back, and the pellet stove. It's Ashley. I'm not real pleased with it, but it is what it is, and it's here. So that's what we're going to do today. I already have them done, but I made some videos, so I'll put that together, and I got some little setup tools I made. I'm going to tack them on the end. I won't put them on the end right away. I'm going to have to get the camera out again and show you how they're used, and just a couple little setup tricks. Stuff comes in handy sometimes. So, okay, well, I'm going to feed the wood stove, and we're going to get back to work. Okay. Here's a little setup aid you can make up for your Bridgeport or your mini mill or whatever you have. These are slot blocks, and they're made a neat fit in the table. If you got a grinder, they're easy to make, your surface grinder, or you can mill them and take your time. But they should be a neat fit in the slot. They're aid for setting up jobs, and they can help hold your job. The one on this side, I don't know if you can see it. This one here has a screw in it, so you can use it like a vice jaw. So I have these trailing trucks that I have to slot out. And they'll go in there like that. A little much there. Put a block in, a couple blocks in there. Space blocks. Well, that's a little too thick. I might just have to do like that. And put a little space block over here and tighten it up. Now pretty much line you up. That's a little big, so I'll have to find another block somewhere, a little piece of shim or something. I didn't like the looks of the one, just using one, so I went ahead and made another slot block. Right here, ground it up, weld it, ground it, and there she is. Just tap her down in there and go. I think I'm going to move it over, try and get a couple clamps in there. So this is a Allen wrench. That's a good way to get a slot block out. And put the Allen wrench under there, and you just roll it up, and it should come right out for you. I want to put another clamp here and here, one here, and here. So I don't want this thing to move on me, because I think it's worth a lot of money and I don't want to scrap it. Here's a little fixture I made for doing expansion links. And here's one of the, this is a water jet cut link. It's just cold rolled, but fits right in here. And that slot, I got a slot in the plate that lets your chips fall through. There's a video back in history, I'll try and put a link to it, that you can see me cutting the links here, and the chips fall out the bottom. Otherwise the chips get on the top and they chew the mill up. The chips fall out the bottom of that hole. And this was my 0 hole. And sometimes you, even on straight mill jobs, you may need some kind of little table to hold some part like that. You couldn't very well hold that in a vise. You would warp it. Here's another little thing I use once in a while. I've got a couple of V-notches in here. Just a piece of bar stock. And if I have a job that, can you see it there? If you put it in the vise, it'll be too high. You don't have the clearance. You can clamp it there with a toolmaker's clamp, and that gains you like 4 inches of clearance. And you can do drilling and milling on the ends. I've used this one a lot for various jobs, and holes and dog clutches and that kind of thing. And here's a bigger one, and this doubles up as a keyway bar holder for the shaper, but it's the same thing. You could put a longer bar in this V. A bigger bar in the V, and it's the same situation, but you get a bigger hole on it. Sometimes you have, it's mostly rework type stuff or secondary operations where you have this kind of situation, but you could clamp it down there and do whatever you had to do to it. If you have a tapered piece, this is tapered, it's only 1/8 inch per length, but the vise is not going to hold it. So it's going to hold at the thick spot here, and it's going to want to pull out of the vise on you. And I didn't think of this either, it's just something I stole from somebody else. This will spread the load and it will centralize the pressure here. This piece of aluminum, you could saw that and you could sand it on a belt sander, or mine are made on the CNC, so if they're not CNC they might tend to lift you apart. So sometimes you may need to cut a little clearance in the center like this one for some reason, if you have a little step or something there. If you have something like this that you have to clamp, really if you hold it here, you get the same situation. It wants to come up. If you put this in there, it's just going to hold on that corner. But I made these up over the years, and you could stick them in there, and it gives you clamping in 2 spots. It gives you clamping where your strength is here, so you're clamping in a column, and it clears the corner here, and it's going to be good and solid because you're clamping on the corners, and the corners here. If you have a triangular piece and you have to put it in the vise like that, either that, if it's hard, either that's going to cut into the vise, nick the vise. If that's soft, it's going to flatten the corner of the piece, and that's no good. So this is just a round piece with a V-slot in it. And if you hold these legs, run this right to center, hold these legs at 90 degrees, so you have 1/2 inch here, this is 1 inch, 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch there. You can use it for setup work in a corner. I've had jobs like this. Sometimes you have to come back and put a gusset up some way, clamp it up in the mill, and put a hole or a slot or something in it. And this will hold good on that. And this is just a smaller one, but this is not to center, so I can't rely on that for pickup work. If you have some kind of a part that's on an angle, it's got a leg on an angle, like this, and they want to hold a close distance from, say, this corner down to some hole down here, you can hold that on there, and you know you got a 1/2 inch from here to the corner, and then you zero your machine out and you come over whatever you need and put your holes in. But that has to be held close for that. These are hard bronze. Well, that's hard bronze. This is just brass.